In today's video, we're going to be taking a look back at some of the images and places that I've visited over the past couple of months. I'm going to be narrating over and talking to you about my camera settings, what I'm looking for, and anything else that comes to mind. So let's jump in and take a look. Oh, so I can't even remember where this is. I think this is the back end of Liverpool Street, maybe Bank. Oh, I do remember this picture. Yes, there's this beautiful sort of split between light and shadow, and there's people walking across that line. And as I use this post, if you can use something to steady your camera, it was in the perfect position across the road, just parallel. And yeah, I've gone portrait mode, and then I'm just waiting for people to come across and interact with that line. Yeah, shutter is 2500, f-stop is 4, ISO 100, plenty of light, so I don't need to boost up the ISO at all. And I'm just steadying my camera. I've got my frame, I've got the light and shadow more or less centered, and then I'm just waiting for people to come along, and some of these came out pretty well. One thing I should have done that I didn't do here, so looking back at these videos and how I've interacted with the environment at the time, I'm learning a lot. I could have changed my angle here. I just did one set of photos just directly opposite and flat, and I could have changed the angle and played around a little bit more, but I was happy with what I got, so then I just moved on. This second bit, this is definitely behind, this is a different day, and this is behind Liverpool Street Station. And this bunch of images, I remember it because they're fantastic. This first one, I just grabbed it very, very quickly. I love the way this picture came out. The light, the way the person is walking into the light. The only slight little thing I don't like about it is the post in front of the person. But apart from that, I think that image is fantastic. And then yeah, across the road in the same area, I just looked across the road and I saw this beautiful piece of light. It was nice and soft against the sort of red building, and there's this lamp above as well. Settings, and then I'm just waiting for people to come. And I think, as far as I can remember, there's a couple, and they spot me taking a picture, and the woman's got a beautiful smile on her face. Here it comes here. There you go. And the light is just shining on their faces, and they're perfectly centered in the frame. They've got that split-legged sort of walking motion. I wish that I went up to them and showed them that picture, because I really enjoyed it. And now we're just moving on. This is towards Liverpool Street Station, but there's this beautiful, beautiful tunnel. I love shooting into the light because you get these amazing silhouettes. And this bunch of images that is coming up next is really fantastic. I do think that I'm going to print some of these out. Actually, what I might do, I might put together a photo book. I'll let you guys know when the photo book is out. If you haven't already, make sure you join the Facebook group. More people are joining every day, and we're posting our pictures, sharing stuff. There will be workshops and meetups as well, so make sure you join the Facebook group while it's still open and free to join, because it will close soon. And here we are in this magnificent tunnel. This is the first time I've ever seen this tunnel, and London's amazing because you can just explore and find new places each and every day. You got these sort of like LED lights coming down from the top, and the leading lines are just going into the right direction, into the light. And I caught this couple. It's okay, but I really thought this area had fantastic potential, so I stayed with it, and I changed my angles, played with my settings, played with my framing, and I got things that I really, really like. I remember now, there was a cyclist that I captured that was just fantastic. I think I move across, I play with the landscape here, and I don't think it works as well. I tried to do a flat on shot, and I don't think this works very well. And then I move across to the right, and I really like the leading lines from the top leading into the light. I really like this framing, so I've got my framings, I've got my settings, and now I'm waiting for the right thing to happen. And I was happy to wait here for as long as it took, because I could see the potential in this photo. Here comes the guy on the bike. Beautiful. I really like this shot. Shutter 250, f-stop 500, ISO 100. I think that came out great. I really do think that image came out fantastic. So now I'm just sort of fine tuning. I've got an image that I really enjoyed. The guy on the cycle. It was an electric bike. I heard it coming. And I'm just sort of fine tuning now. I'm just adjusting my composition ever so slightly. Same settings, I really enjoyed the settings. I think there's a guy coming down. He's going to be walking from my left into the light. Here he comes. And this image comes out very nice as well. He's wearing all black, full silhouette. Here we go. I just wanted a little split in his legs. That would have made it even better, but that second image does look really good. I'm really happy with that. So I've got 2 images in this tunnel that I'm really happy with, and prior I got those 2 other images that were fantastic. I think this is Liverpool Street. Yes, it is Liverpool Street. Ah yes, I remember this. Shooting straight into the sun again. And I saw these pillars, and they almost reminded me of a piano, and I can see the framing before I even got there. So I just walked up, I framed it, got the framing that I like, the composition that I like, and then you see these people just walking through the frame, almost like walking on the keyboard, interacting with the sort of shadow and the light. That one came out okay. But there's one coming up that was really cool. I think it's coming up just now. This one I really like. I love the glow of the sun. The lady just walking into the light. So I was happy with that, and I moved on. Back end of Liverpool Street. This is the same day. Back end of Liverpool Street. I forget the name of this area here, but it's a great place to do a shoot. I saw these stairs in front of me, and the way the light was shining on them was really bright in the background. The stairs were in the shade, and I thought this would make a really nice sort of photo. The pattern of it looks really cool to me. So again, I'm just getting my framing, adjusting my settings, taking my time. There's no rush with this sort of picture because the stairs are not going anywhere. As you can see, I went for a more softer edit. Ah, yes, the city overlooking Liverpool Street Station. And look how the sun is just glowing on one side of the buildings. On the left is more shaded, on the right is more highlighted, so that adds a lot of depth to the image. Light, when you get used to playing with light and understanding light, you can make some really fantastic images. So again, I'm getting my framing, adjusting my settings, taking my time, no rush, and I think that came out really well. I do like that image. Ah, this is a beautiful sunny day at the Barbican. And I'm just walking down the stairs, just observing what's going on. And then I see this lady, she's standing on the corner facing the wall. And look at the shadow, look at the light, look at those little glass windows above her. And I can see the image already. So I race over, get my camera out, hoping that she's not going to move. I get my framing, I shoot, and I think it needs more space. So then I back up, and I get my second image here, and I think this one works much better. Really nice image there. saw something. If you see something, go and grab it. Don't hesitate, go and grab that image. You'll learn so much about yourself, your camera settings, the lighting, composition. You're only going to be kicking yourself if you don't grab that image. Such a beautiful place to take pictures, it really is. On a sunny day, the brutalist architecture, it's just a fantastic place to take pictures. So where do we find ourselves now? I think this is Bank, sort of Barbican area, another beautifully sunny day. Yeah, we're not too far from Barbican, and I've seen this beautiful patch of light, and part of it is shining on across the road, and I'm thinking here that a nice flat image with somebody walking into the light would make for a good image. The directional light is coming down the road, and then we've got this sort of backdrop of this pattern, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. So that's going to add to the image, leading lines, leading your eye across the image. And I'm thinking that if I can set up across the road, get my composition, a nice flat image, and get somebody walking from right to left into the light. Also got that security camera above, sort of looking down, so that adds another dimension to the picture, makes it more interesting.
So it's all a waiting game now.
So yeah, I'm just planning out my photo here. I'm getting my composition, I'm getting my settings, I'm taking my time, I'm doing a test shot, and then I'm checking my histogram. Have I got all the information? Shutter is 250, f-stop 4, ISO 100. And on a weekday, I'm guessing this road would be maybe a lot busier, but this was a Sunday, and around this sort of area, Bank Liverpool Street, it's not busy at all on the Saturdays and the Sundays. But here's somebody coming. Oh, I remember this shot, yes. It comes out well, but the problem with it is that she is wearing black and it's against a black background, so it doesn't really pop out. And then somebody else comes along straight away. So I switch to portrait mode and I capture this guy, and it comes out really, really well. I catch him in the perfect stride, and he's wearing a sort of white trousers, so it really does pop out a lot better against that background, and he's right underneath that security camera, so it looks really, really cool. So I'm really happy with that image. I'm checking my images. Make sure you check your images, make sure they're sharp, make sure you've got the image that you want. And if you're not happy, just hang around, take your time. Photography is not about rushing around like some kind of computer game and you're trying to capture as many images as you can. Take your time, feel into your environment, feel into the composition, the settings, observe how the light is behaving, and then take your picture. Where do we find ourselves here? Another beautifully sunny day. Look at those shadows, look at those lines, that bit of graffiti on the wall as well. It looks really, really cool. And I set up, oh, and this guy turns around to drop something in the bin. And I think this is probably my favorite picture from this set. Sometimes you get it straight away, sometimes it comes later, sometimes it doesn't come at all, but that's all part of the fun. When you go out fishing, you don't always get what you want. It's all about the experience, you know, learning about the camera, looking at the light, going out, being in a different environment, exploring. The whole experience of going out with your camera is special. And if you get a fantastic image on top of that, something that you're really happy with, that's just a massive, massive bonus. So we're around the Moorgate sort of area here, and I'm taking a bit more time because I really like this sort of composition. So I've set up portrait mode. This girl running through the frame, caught her beautifully, running from the light into the shadow. I think that looks really, really cool. I'm just taking my time, playing with my settings, adjusting my settings, moving my composition a little bit, just fine tweaking. There's no rush. I really like the frame, the way the light is behaving in this frame. There are people interacting, walking through. I like the bit of graffiti, the street sign, the brick wall, the dustbin. There's so much in this frame that I like. It's quite a clean frame, but there's a lot going on at the same time. So I'm always exposing for the highlights. Always expose for the highlights. And pull up your histogram and make sure you're capturing all of the data. The highlights and the shadows. I'm not too worried with this style of photography. I'm not too worried about the shadows because I want the shadows to be nice and dark. But the highlights, I want to capture all the data because I don't want them to be blown out. I want to be able to bring back all the detail in the highlights.
So I have it on burst mode, so I can just capture 3 or 4 shots and I can get that person in their stride. Something's coming along.
So here we go, here's a chap walking from the shadow to the light. I'm all set. And that's a really nice image as well. I just caught him, his back leg's in the shadow and his front half is in the light. And I think that looks really, really well. So I move on from there and I'm just looking back and checking my images. And those 2 images are my favorite from the set. The very first one and the very last one. And this is a fantastic estate that I stumbled across. It's one of the beauties of going out with your camera and not having an aim as to where you're going, is that you find these amazing places. I've never seen this place before. It's a fantastic underground car park in an estate. And the way it's designed and the light, there's so much going on, but it did look really, really empty. I really liked, you see the shape here, this sort of triangle shape. Really love the way this looks, the concrete, the light shining through. I can see the image that I want. And I remember this and I'm thinking, nobody's gonna turn up here. It's like, it's empty. I can't hear a car, I can't hear anyone. And then I hear these people walking down. So I pull up my camera and I take a picture and I get this fantastic image straight away. And that could be an album cover easily. I captured the rest of the crew coming down. They're a photography crew and they're doing a photo shoot in this sort of like underground car park. The second, third image is not as good. That first image with just the 2 people, fantastic. And if you see other photographers, it's always nice to have a chat. London's got this bad name that it's, you know, an unfriendly, cold place, but not at all. You say hello to people and people will say hello back. So I had a nice little chat with them. I had a little bit of a giggle, but I caught my picture and I was happy to rock on. I was really happy with that image. So here we are, we're on the edge of the Barbican estate, and look at this. You've got leading lines sort of going across, you've got leading lines of the water dripping down from top to bottom. It doesn't look like much when you look at the whole entire frame, but if you can train your eye just to look at frames within a scenery, you'll start to see some beautiful pictures. And I saw this as soon as I looked at it, and the only reason I see images like that is because I've trained my eye. There's this guy walking down, and look at that, you got a leading line from bottom to top, top to bottom, going across as well, and the subject bang in the middle. It's a great image. It's a really, really nice image, that is.
I love that image. I think I'm going to call it a day. That's all for now. I know that I've got one image that I really, really like.
All of these photos are edited using the RS Mono collection. There's a link to the collection in the description below, and at the moment I'm doing a absolute bargain on all of my presets. 171 plus, because I keep adding to them as well. So you're definitely getting 171, but you're actually getting slightly more than that. So jump in and grab that while you still can. Okay, yes, we're back at the Barbican here. This set of images is fantastic. I was just walking through and I saw this beautiful patch of light, and it was just shining off the concrete with the buildings in the shadow in the background. So again, I've found something to put my camera on to keep it nice and stable. I'm framing the image how I like, and then I'm adjusting my settings, and it's giving this such a dramatic look. And there's lots of people walking through this frame, and I'm just waiting for the right thing to happen. So I'm just being patient and waiting for the right thing to happen. And I'm so glad I did, because there's a few images here that are just amazing. I do like single people interacting with my frame. It just looks so peaceful, so beautiful. There's a couple of people walking into the frame. I got them split-legged, and that looks quite nice. And there's a whole bunch of people that come along here. And even this works quite well. It kind of looks like pigeons sort of grazing. And I quite like it. The silhouettes of the people. So I'm quite happy with that set of images. So I just sort of change my angle, see if I see anything else, and this looks really nice as well. You see how the light's just, the light and my settings are making it so the buildings in the background are just sort of like supporting the main image, the main subject, which is the big patch of light, and the subject is sort of like encasing and framing that beautiful patch of light. So here we are, we're back in the city, and I've seen this amazingly beautiful piece of light just shining, getting my framing. I think I'm around sort of Canon Street. You can always tell when you're in the city because everything's slightly different. Look at the posts. You only find those posts in the city, and they're beautifully painted. But I've seen this beautiful patch of light. I really like the shapes of it, and we've got some of those amazing city posts in there as well. So I'm just getting my framing, adjusting my settings, and look at that. So now I'm just waiting for the right person to come along. I've got my landscape, I'm practicing. I've got my landscape and I've got my portrait, and I really like how the landscape looks. And here's somebody that's coming along. So just capture that image and look at that. You see how dark the blacks are? Because I'm exposing for the light, and I want my blacks to be super, super dark. Fantastic image straight away. But there are a couple more that I like even more. Shutter 640, f-stop 3.2, ISO 100. Again, it's the city, it's the weekend, the weather's great. It was cold, sunny but cold. There's not too many people coming along, but I really think this frame has got great potential, so I'm happy to stick around and wait for that right person to come along. And here comes somebody. So I've already got my settings set up, so it's easy for me to pull up the camera and take a picture. You see how his head is just above the ray of light. So I didn't like that. I wanted his head to be lower. So that chap, one, was a little bit too tall, and two, now I'm thinking I need my framing to be lower. So I think on the next set of images, or it might be the set after that, you see me drop my framing, lower my composition. See, he's just slightly above the ray of light. Even though his face is illuminated, I just feel that it would work better, one, if somebody was shorter, and this chap that comes along is, if I drop my framing a little bit lower. So here we go. There you go, you can see his top half is now in the light and his face is in the light, and I think that just works out that little bit better. It's always a good idea, take your pictures and analyze them. Think to yourself, what could make this picture better? Hang around, capture that image, and then move on. Because all that's going to happen is that you get back, you look at the image and you think, crap, I should have done this, or I should have done that. And that's also a great way to learn about photography, is looking back at your images when you're back in Lightroom on your computer and thinking to yourself, how could I have made this image better? Maybe it's your settings, maybe it's your composition, maybe it's something else. So again, I've the same patch of light, but I'm just capturing it from a different angle. Here comes somebody. Get my framing. Nice. Not as good as the first set of images for me, but hey, you might think differently. Let me know in the comments below what you think about these images we've captured so far. What do you think about this fine art, black and white style of photography? Is it something that you want to get involved in? Join the Facebook group if you do. Ah, yes. So it's the same patch of light, but I've seen this pillar, so I've added the pillar to the frame and it creates more depth. So I've got my composition, I've got my settings, I'm using the railing to steady my camera, and I'm just waiting for the right person to come along.
Okay, here comes somebody.
And here comes somebody, they're just entering the frame on the right hand side. They're gonna pop up behind this pillar, walking into the light, and he's got a hoodie on as well. So it just adds that little bit of mystery to the image. Really happy with that bunch of images. I'm just taking a look at them, making sure I'm happy with them, that they're nice and sharp, and now I can move on. Now that I'm happy with that bunch of images, I can move on and find my next frame, my next composition, my next image.
I do like it, but you never really know until you get it on the back of the screen. So settings for the...
So now we're back in the Barbican. Nice sunny day in Barbican, and I see this frame over here, and I really enjoy. This is not a single patch of light, there's a few patches of light, and it almost looks like a spaceship. You've got the brutalist architecture, so I get the framing that I like, I adjust my settings, and I'm just waiting for the right person to come along at the right time. This image is okay, but they're wearing quite dark clothing, so it kind of just marries into the darkness of the picture. It's really nice if people are wearing brighter clothing on a darker background, or dark clothing on a brighter background. And I capture this guy, capture him in this stride, and he's a fellow photographer, and we have a really nice chat. If you want to check out that full video and the chat, check this video up here, and it's the full video of me at the Barbican. Okay, so I hope you like this little highlight reel of some of the images that I've captured over the past month or so. Let me know in the comments below what you think about it. Also, remember to join the Facebook group. It's currently free to join. People are joining up every single day, sharing their photos and getting feedback from other members. I'm also posting my photos, some images that are not here on YouTube, so you can take a look at that. And you can also hear about workshops and meetups that we'll be having in the near future. A link to the Facebook group can be found in the description below, so get there as soon as you can. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until the next time, get out there and take those photos.